What policies you will bring for our farmers because they are the food ball of Canada,
Yes.
they serve whole of the Canada. What policies you have? 6 months, if we can ban potatoes, we can ban vehicles also.
And their major concern is they can't pay their bills.
So what is the real theory behind carbon tax? Will you abolish that if you come in power?
Unleash farm and food production in this country so that we can feed ourselves first.
Otherwise, in next 100 years, our insurance won't go down.
Every major city in Canada permit 15% more home building per year, or they'll lose their federal grants. Speaking of go, Justin Trudeau has to go. Farmers still need to run their combines, tractors, dryers, in order to bring food from their field to our fort. Life was not like this before Justin Trudeau. I will bring back freedom of speech and an open internet so that voices like yours can be heard.
ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ ਦੇ ਬੇੜੇ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫੇਰ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲੀਵੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਹੈ। ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਤੇ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ ਤੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦਾ ਟੂਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸ ਐਡਵਰਡ ਆਈਲੈਂਡ ਦਾ ਟੂਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸ ਕੀ ਹੈ? ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਨੈਨੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੋਲਸ ਦੀ ਰੇਟਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਸ਼ੋ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੋਲੀਏਵ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਫॉर ਜੁਆਇਨਿੰਗ ਵਿਦ ਅਸ ਟੁਡੇ।
Thank you very much for having me.
To start with, you took a tour of Canada, then you took a tour of Atlantic Canada, Prince Edward Island also. How was the response of Canadians and what are their concerns, major concerns?
The response to me was good, and their major concern is they can't pay their bills. Like everyone else, after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, seniors are choosing between eating and heating. Our youth can't afford homes. Many of our middle class and middle-aged people are worried about losing their homes as interest rates drive up mortgage payments. After 8 years of Trudeau, work no longer pays. Your paycheck gets chewed up by taxes and clawbacks. You make it, Trudeau takes it. And our farmers are worried they won't be able to bring home a harvest because the carbon tax, now just 14 cents, under Trudeau's plan will go up to 61 cents a litre, which will drive up fuel for farmers and truckers, which means that our food will become more expensive. So what they want is an end to Justin Trudeau, and they want a change. The good news is that life wasn't like this in Canada before Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone.
Recently we heard when you were in Prince Edward Island that federal government is banning export of potatoes.
Yes.
What is the reason? Because most of the Canadians, they don't know. We ourselves are not aware of that, but we heard you. If federal government has done something banning the potatoes, there must be an issue. So what is the issue?
So several years ago, they found a small growth of what's called potato wart. It's like a fungal growth. It's not dangerous, but it's very unpleasant if it spreads. It turns out that this was an isolated problem that the government could have simply zeroed in on, stopped growth on the affected fields, but allowed the rest of the industry to go on. Instead, the government signed a ban on exporting Canadian potatoes to the United States. The Americans had not even banned our potatoes, but our government banned the export. 2 years later, an international panel has concluded the potatoes are safe. We're using them in Canada, we're eating them, and we're fine. Nobody's dropping dead from potatoes. But still, the federal government in our country is banning the
Same
export
potatoes Canadians are consuming,
exactly.
but export is banned.
Exactly.
So
It doesn't make sense. I'd love to explain to you the rationale, but there doesn't appear to be a rationale. It's an idiotic decision by the Trudeau government that's hurting our potato producers and harming farmers here at a time when they're already suffering with high carbon taxes.
So what policies you will bring for our farmers because they are the food ball of Canada, they serve whole of the Canada. What policies you have for them?
First of all, we need to axe the carbon tax, which is driving up the cost of machinery, food drying, transportation, and also fertilizer. So I will axe the tax to bring down the costs of farming in Canada so we can produce more of our own food in this country. Secondly, I'm going to get rid of the proposed fertilizer ban. Trudeau wants to cut back fertilizer use by 30%. That'll mean less food production on each acre, which will mean more expensive food and more foreign food. I'll get rid of that. We need to work on making our farmers even more productive rather than less productive. So axe the tax, remove the red tape, unleash farm and food production in this country so that we can feed ourselves first.
Mr. Poilievre, inflation has spiked again.
Yes.
From 8.2% to 2.8%, now again to 3.3%.
Yes.
Why Canadians don't see, if it came from 8.2 to 2.8%, why Canadians don't see the drop in grocery prices, drop in mortgage prices, drop in gas prices and other things?
No, 2.8% doesn't mean that the prices are going down.
Yeah.
It's just, it means that they're still going up, just at a slower rate. So the inflation that Trudeau caused of 8%, that money we're not going to get back. Even if inflation does come back to the target, that doesn't mean the prices that already went up are going to go back down. It just means they're going to rise at a slower rate. But now they're rising at a faster rate. Inflation is now at 3.3%. It's accelerating month over month. Two reasons for that. One, the carbon tax hike is that they brought in the East Coast. It was they brought that in at a different time. That hiked food and fuel costs there. Second, we're now suffering the resurgence of inflation after Trudeau's budget. Remember, Freeland said that deficit spending is like pouring fuel on the inflationary fire. Well, then she poured $60 billion of fuel on the fire, and that was in the budget in the spring. Well, now that money is starting to pour into the economy and revitalize inflation. So we're seeing the consequences of Trudeau's tax and spend policies driving up the cost of living. I will axe the tax, I'll cap spending, we'll cut waste to balance the budget so that we can lower interest rates and inflation.
So carbon tax, government says we are working for the environment, that's why we have the carbon tax. Opposition parties, they are opposing it. So Canadians are a little confused, like we have to look for the environment also. So what is the real theory behind carbon tax? Will you abolish that if you come in power?
Yes, I will abolish the carbon tax. It's not working. The idea is that if you punish people for using traditional energy, that it will save the environment and stop forest fires. It's not working. In fact, people need to drive their trucks, heat their homes. Farmers still need to run their combines, tractors, dryers in order to bring food from their field to our fork. What we need to do is axe the tax, and instead of trying to raise the price of traditional energies we still need, like oil and gas, let's lower the cost of carbon-free alternatives by approving more nuclear power, hydroelectric power, ocean tidal power, carbon capture and storage. Let's mine the minerals of electrification, like lithium. Let's bring home the production of those green energies to this country by getting the bureaucracy out of the way, becoming the fastest nation on earth in which that delivers a building permit. Let's green light green projects. That's how we lower costs and emissions at the same time.
Mr. Poilievre, Canadians paying tax on every single thing.
Yes.
One of the highest tax in the world. We are paying tax on our incomes, income tax, grocery, water, electricity, hydro, everything we buy, we pay tax.
Yes.
And with that, governments run. With the tax money, government runs. It's the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
The taxpayers' money has gone to 8 billion plus to the Ukraine, to other spending. What is your platform? What is your solution for this so that the common Canadian who earns minimum wage of $16 per hour, he can take more home, because with this rate, survival is not possible. With mortgage rates high, survival is not possible unless until one Canadian earn $40 per hour. That was the report published in recently.
Yes, well, it's incredible how bad life has become after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. We see middle-class carpenters living in parking lots now. CTV ran a story of a nurse living in her van. In Penticton, there are a group of seniors who live in a parking lot in their cars. This was unheard of in Canada before Trudeau. But he's raised taxes, he's created massive inflation with his runaway spending, he's allowed bureaucrats to block home building, which means we now have a housing shortage. The good news is that Canada wasn't like this before Justin Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. We're going to bring home lower prices by axing the carbon tax, bring home powerful paychecks by lowering income taxes so hard work once again pays off. We're going to bring homes people can afford by incentivizing cities to speed up and lower the cost of building permits. I'll require every major city in Canada permit 15% more home building per year, or they'll lose their federal grants. Those that beat the 15% target will get a building bonus. And we're going to require every federally funded transit station be permitted for high-density apartments all around it so that our youth and seniors can live next to the bus or train. This is how we're going to bring homes, bring food, and bring paychecks that will mean a good life for our people again.
So talking about housing crisis.
Yes.
Rents have gone up 21% in the last 2 years.
Yes.
Mortgage payments have gone up drastically.
Yes.
Anyone who was paying $3,500 a mortgage, now they are paying $6,000 plus a mortgage.
Yes.
So how can Canadians survive? What is your plan? Bank of Canada may raise the interest rate again to 25 point.
Yes.
Where Canadians can go?
It's, well, speaking of go, Justin Trudeau has to go. Canada, life was not like this before Justin Trudeau. He's doubled housing costs. He's doubled them. When I was housing minister, rent was half of what it is today. Mortgage payments were half of what they are today. This is the direct result of Trudeau's disastrous inflationary tax and spend policies that are driving up the cost of everything. We have to axe the tax, cap spending, cut waste, bring home our money, stop giving away our money to foreign dictators, and start putting it back into our own country. That's the only way we're going to reverse the inflation that Trudeau has caused.
Mr. Poilievre, you are here in Ontario. Sometimes you get scared. Your vehicle is outside in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It may get stolen. And Canada is the biggest source of vehicles in the world.
Yeah.
Why our government is not listening? Where are our police forces? What is the solution? Last time we requested if export of used vehicles can be banned for 6 months, if we can ban potatoes, we can ban vehicles also, the old shipments, so that if the vehicle is within Canada, our police forces can track them easily. Secondly,
smart, yeah.
why not our police forces go to Nigeria, because we have number plates there of Ontario vehicles,
Yeah.
to talk to the government, get our vehicles back. Otherwise, in next 100 years, our insurance won't go down.
Amazing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This problem is raged out of control because there's no export verification. So what happens is the criminals are stealing the car in the morning, and by noon the car is on a ship and it's headed off to another continent, and it will never be seen again in Canada.
But our politicians are sleeping on this.
Well, we have a prime minister who's spending billions of dollars taking away hunting rifles from law-abiding people in rural Canada, rather than putting that money into border security that could be preventing the export of illegal and stolen vehicles to other countries. So what I will do is put the money into frontline border security to stop illegal exports and imports into our country, rather than wasting our money going after law-abiding Canadians.
Even here in Ontario, our city of mayors, his mother's car was stolen. Our
Yeah.
MPP's cars were stolen a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's a very big story.
Absolutely.
Mr. Poilievre, moving to next question is
Yes.
Bill C-18.
Yes.
So Online News Act.
Yeah.
So digital contenters, you were talking about some digital creators, those who get their livelihood from those social media.
Yeah.
So now Canadians are looking to the government, what next, when it will be resolved?
Look, this is Trudeau who caused it. He passed the bill. He said that if this bill passed, you were going to get a check. Have you got a check?
No.
He said Facebook and Google were going to give you money.
But our news got blocked from the
And
Facebook.
all that his bill did is it took your news off of the media. It's Orwellian. It's like 1984, where you have news disappearing from social media networks as a result of the government's own law. The law is doing exactly the opposite of what Trudeau said it was going to do. We voted against it. I said it was a dumb law. I voted against Bill C-11, which is also a censorship law. But this is Trudeau trying to concentrate media power in the hands of a few small liberal, corporate, and state-backed media entities so that he can control the message and shut down voices like yours. I will bring back freedom of speech and an open internet so that voices like yours can be heard by your viewers, and that it is customers and not government commissars who tell us what we can see and hear.
Mr. Poilievre, normally what happens that when any party is in power, they avoid the media, they avoid to discuss the issues what they are being criticized for. They just announce the policies they are declaring. When any party is in opposition, they talk the issues. When you will be power, if you will be in power, will you tackle the issues if Canadians have any issues of the unemployment, of the inflation, of mortgages? Will you listen to them, or the same story will continue?
I will listen to them.
Okay. And Mr. Poilievre, in the end, what message you want to give to the Canadians? And nanopolls shows that your party is leading now.
Well, my message to Canadians is that, look, Canada wasn't like this before Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. I was born to a 16-year-old mother. She put me up for adoption to 2 school teachers. They raised me to believe that in this country, it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters where you're going. It doesn't matter who you knew, it matters what you can do. That's the country my wife came to as a refugee. That's the country that we want for our kids and yours. And it's the country that we're going to restore, a country that works for the people who do the work, where anybody who gets up early, puts in a long day, serves their community, follows the law, can achieve great things. That's the country we're going to bring back. And so keep the hope, keep the faith. Let's get rid of Trudeau, and let's bring home the Canada that we know and love.
Thank you, Mr. Poilievre.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So ਆ ਸੀਗੇ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲੀਵ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦਾ ਦੌਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਐਟਲਾਂਟਿਕ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦਾ ਦੌਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੀਚ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਜਾਂ ਈਮੇਲ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ। ਸੋ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ।